Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Riley Foster of Foster's Custom Steel. Hey, this isn't about welding today. I had a tree go down in the backyard. I'm gonna have to clean it up, and I wanted to use, obviously that one needs to be cleaned out here too. We got about an acre fenced off for the dog. She appreciates it. When we have two dogs, they really appreciate it. But there's my sidekick over there. Yeah. Her name is Thelma. She's a little washed out cattle dog. Yeah, she's a pretty cool little dog. But anyway, I wanted to do this video on that little battery powered chainsaw that I got. This one, yeah, the 20 volt XR by DeWALT. Now, I made the little case for it and keep the blade or the bar covered up nice. I'm going to start out with the 5 amp hour battery. That's the one that came with it. And we're just going to see how long it'll run. I'll show you the pine tree here in just a minute. And this is the reason I bought this little saw. So I didn't have to drag out that big, massive chainsaw to cut up what appears to be maybe an 8-inch to 10-inch in diameter. Now, one thing I did do to this chainsaw, I do not recommend this for anybody. I made this metal band that goes around the push button here. What happens is this chainsaw has a auto shut off if it bogs down, so it doesn't burn the battery up, and the motor will cut off. Well, you got to roll it over, push the button, and then squeeze the trigger. That was driving me crazy. So what I did was I made that little clip. You can see it just wraps on there and slides over that button and holds it in place. Now, may not be considered the safest thing in the world, but I'm pretty safe. Said the man with no fingers, right? So anyway, this is why I bought this little chainsaw, is to clean up stuff like this. This tree's probably, I don't know, 60 feet long, and it is rotten. And it had been hanging up in this black walnut tree for months. And we finally got a storm, and it blew it over. And now I can't cut the backyard. I don't keep a well-groomed lawn. We live out in the county. I don't give a rat's butt about grass. I tell people I encourage dandelions, wild onions, crabgrass, anything that's green and doesn't cost me to feed it. So I encourage weeds. We just keep them beat down, keep the snakes away, I guess. But anyway, that looks to be about 10 inches in diameter, and it's every bit of 60 foot long. I'm gonna just pile it up back over here against that dead pine tree right there. I'll leave them up. You know, the birds appreciate them. They're not in my way. So I'm gonna put the camera on a tripod and trim up a bunch of this. I'd like to see how long that 5 amp hour battery lasts. I have two. One's a 5 and one's a 3, and I'll get the tripod a little closer shortly. So hold on just 1 minute. Let me get some stuff set up here. All right, we're set up and ready to start cutting. One thing I have learned about using this little chainsaw, I'm that guy that has no patience, and this chainsaw will teach you patience. You can't push it. You just got to let it cut and keep the blade sharp and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give it a try and see what this thing will do. It doesn't help this thing's full of vines. See if we can't get over here a little bit better view some of this, because I gotta say, little old chainsaw works really well. Again, this is a small tree and it's on pine, and that's what I bought this for, so I didn't have to get out that big Farm Boss chainsaw and wear earmuffs and hear all that screaming of the chainsaw. All right, took me just a minute to try to get that thing in focus. I didn't say I was great at recording videos. I do not edit, so what you see is what you get. That's just the way it is. I just wished I had a crew to do the cleanup. Hold on, I'll give you a close-up on that. And again, guys, as I said, this is why I bought this chainsaw. It's not massive. You can cut it with one hand. Not recommended, but it really does cut stuff like this. Yeah, see, that ain't bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. So guys, I'm gonna tell you, this saw is probably, I can't remember when the first video I did. I think it's about 6 months ago. Hey, it might have been a year, I don't know. But it's running great. Yeah, so again, it is running really good. I'm pleasantly surprised and pleased with this little chainsaw. I've cut a lot of saplings, and like I said, this came down in a storm, I guess about a month ago, and I've been needing to, well, I don't want this to grow up too high, so I can't cut around it, so it's got to go. And I'm cutting them up in probably between 4 and 5 foot lengths. So obviously we're not going to build a log cabin with this thing, but I gotta say, it sure beats an axe or a handheld bow saw. Yeah, so I think it was well worth the money I spent. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't a disaster. And again, it keeps me from out here working too awfully hard. Let's do this. Alright, so you can see that's probably 8 inches, 9, 10, somewhere along in there. We're not building a log cabin, we're just cleaning up some old pine. And I think that was well worth the money that I spent on getting this thing. Again, it saves me from doing a lot of back breaking axe or carrying on that big chainsaw. So it cut up every bit of that, and that's the first 5 amp battery. We got 15 minutes. I may clean up a little bit more here just to show. I don't know how long it'll go. We'll run a little bit more. Clean up a little bit more of this brush, because the logs are all cut up in movable pieces now. And believe it or not, cutting up scraggly mess like that's a lot worse than just cutting up a log. Oh, and one more thing. If you store this chainsaw, do not store it setting up. Store it laying on its side. It will leak oil if it's set up straight. Don't know why, that's just the way it is. It ain't broken. I just always lay it on its side now because I leaked all the oil out on the shop floor one day. Okay. I don't know why it just stopped working. So hold on one second, I'm gonna put a battery in it, see what happened. Well, it appears that what I cut up was what that 5 amp battery wanted. It wasn't stalling out, but I got the 3 amp in there now and it's cutting. So let's clean up a little bit of mess. So I believe the only thing left to do now is get the pruners and prune the rest of this up. There's some over here, this black walnut that I can get rid of, but I think that ain't too bad. That's 18 minutes. Now we paused for a little bit there, but it sure made the short work of this old dead pine tree. And what's really great is I ain't even broke a sweat. So hey guys, how about reaching down there and give me a thumbs up and a like and a share. Throw me a comment down there if you have used one of these or if you own a DeWALT 20 volt XR. I'm pretty impressed. I think I have sharpened this once, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that's because I bumped it against the ground. And I kind of like to keep my tools sharp and in working order, but all in all, it gets a big thumbs up. You guys let me know what you think. Remember, give thanks and always have a great day.